minsan sa may kalayaan tayo'y nagkatagpuan. May mga sariling gimik at kanya-kanyang hangad sa buhay. Sa ilalim ng isang bubong, mga sikretong ibinubulong kahit na anong mangyari.
So good morning, LPTs. So since last week, we're done discussing about the Module 1. So this day, we will be proceeding to another module, which is the Module 2, the Learner-Centered Psychological Principles. But before going to the proper discussion, I would like you to open our Google Classroom and kindly click the video which I sent last night. So it is entitled as an argument or debate from a certain students from Zamboanga Peninsula Polytechnic State University as the teacher-centered approach versus the learner-centered approach. So you might ask me, why we should know this? Why we should watch this? It's because we should know that in your part, as a future language teacher, as a future mentors, it's important in your part to know and recognize each strength and limitations from these different approaches. So kindly click, and afterwards, after watching the video, you are expected to reflect from it and share your ideas and thoughts regarding to the video that you've watched. So you may now start watching the video.
Okay, through active learning or deeper understanding, learner-centered approach is more relevant than teacher-centered as it promotes active learning, where students are engaged in constructing their own knowledge through experience and exploration, learning by doing by John Dewey as pragmatist, problem-solving, and collaboration.
So, teacher-centered approach exceeds significantly than learner-centered approach. As in the teacher-centered teaching, it is more likely the foundational knowledge first. Teacher-centered approaches often assume students have the necessary background knowledge to effectively explore and construct meaning. So, direct instruction is crucial for laying that foundation, especially in content-heavy subjects. So, remember, you can build a house without a solid foundation.
Well, learner-centered approaches tap into students' intrinsic motivation by making relevant, engaging, and meaningful activities. You know, when students are actively involved in the learning process, they more likely be motivated.
With regard to the efficiency and structure, teacher-centered classrooms are more efficient for delivering large amount of information to many students. They provide a structured environment that can be beneficial for students who struggle with self-regulation or who need clear guidance.
Through learner-centered approaches, it emphasizes critical thinking and collaboration skills which are essential to have.
So, in assessment clarity, traditional assessment in teacher-centered models often provide clearer measures of student learning, making it easier to track progress and identify areas where students need help, while authentic assessments are valuable. They can be more subjective and difficult to standardize.
Learner-centered approaches allows for more individualized learning experiences, catering to students' diverse learning styles, needs, and interests, and this is what makes the learner-centered approaches more relevant.
And of course, teachers are trained experts in their subject matter with students. Learners learn to recognize
and also teacher-centered approaches allow them effectively share their knowledge and expertise with students, ensuring that students receive accurate and comprehensive information.
Learner-centered approaches is very crucial than teacher-centered because it empowers students to take ownership of their learning, encourage self-directed learning skills, and a lifelong love of learning, which I wish you considered it into account to understand.
So I think you're done watching the video. So now this is your part to share your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own reflection about what you have learned about the teacher-centered approach versus the learner-centered approach that you have watched. So Ms. Pernares.
Ultimately, I've learned the most effective approach and often a blend of both teacher-centered and learning-centered principles. The key is to find the right balance depending on the subject matter, the student learning styles, and the specific learning objects.
Very well said. Seems you've really watched and reflected about you did your part in watching the reflection. How about you, Miss Pagayanan? Would you like to share something?
So the debate is not about choosing one over the other, but about understanding the strength and limitations of each approaches and using them in creating a dynamic and effective learning environment.
Also, the focus should always be on what's best for the learner.
Very well said. I think you're now ready to proceed to our proper discussion, which is the 14 psychological principles. Now, I would like you to work on your video record presentation. So please remember that you're not just reporting, but know that you are a future language teacher. You are future mentors, and you should teach yourself how to be professional and formal and appropriate at all times. So kindly open the book at page 125 and to work on the 14 psychological principles. Oh yes.
When will be the due date, Prof?
The due date will be on the day after tomorrow. So class, dismiss. The 14 psychological principles. Letter A, we have the cognitive and metacognitive factors. Number 1, the nature of the learning process. Effective learning of complex subjects is an intentional process of constructing meaning from information and experiences. It emphasizes intentional process that students use to build meaning from their own information, experiences, thoughts, and beliefs. Successful learners are active, goal-directed, self-regulating, and take responsibility for their own learning. Number 2, we have the goals of the learning process. Effective learning aims for students to develop a deeper, interconnected understanding of knowledge, not just about the memorization. This requires a strategic, goals-oriented approach. With support and guidance, successful learners actively build these mental frameworks and acquire the thinking and learning strategies necessarily for lifelong learning. Critically, this involves setting and pursuing personal relevant learning goals, which provides direction and motivation for the learning process. Number 3, construction of knowledge. Successful learners connect new information to what they already know, deepening and broadening their understanding. This process involves adding to, changing, or restructuring existing knowledge. Teachers can facilitate this knowledge construction through strategies like concept mapping, thematic organization, and categorization.
Number 4 is strategic thinking. Successful learners develop and use a variety of thinking and reasoning strategies to reach complex learning goals. They apply strategic thinking to learning, reasoning, problem solving, and concept learning. Teachers can improve learning outcomes by helping students develop, use, evaluate their strategic learning skills. Number 5, thinking about thinking. Successful learners are aware of their own thinking and learning processes. They can reflect how they learn, set achievable goals, choose effective learning strategies, and track their process. Number 6, context learning. Learning is shaped by its environment, including culture, technology, and teaching methods. It doesn't happen in isolation. Teachers are key in interacting with both the learner and the learning environment. Culture and group influences significantly affect student motivation, learning styles, and ways of thinking.
Letter B, motivational and affective factors. Motivation significantly impacts what and how much someone learns. This motivation is tied to emotions, beliefs, interests, and thought patterns, essentially. But the quality of thinking and information processing and the overall drive to learn are affected by motivational and emotional factors. Number 2, intrinsic motivation to learn. Intrinsic motivation, fueled by curiosity, creativity, and higher order thinking, is key to learning. It's fostered by tasks that are challenging yet achievable, personally relevant, and offer choice and control. Learners are more intrinsically motivated when they find tasks interesting, meaningful, appropriate, challenging, and believe they can succeed. So number 3, effects of motivation on efforts. Acquisition of complex knowledge and skills requires extended learner effort and guided practices. Without learners' motivation to learn, the willingness to exert this effort is unlikely without coercion. Effort is another major indicator of motivation to learn.
Letter C. Developmental and social factors. Learning is influenced by developmental stages. Effective learning considers individual differences in physical, intellectual, emotional, and social development, presenting materials that's developmentally appropriate, engaging, and interesting maximize learning outcomes. Number 2, social interactions, relationships, and communication significantly influence learning. Collaborations and diverse learning environmental foster flexible thinking and social competence. Positive relationships builds belonging, self-respect, and positive learning climate. Family supports and self-motivation strategies can counteract negative influence like anxiety and pressure.
Letter D. Individual differences in learning. Learners have diverse learning strategies, approaches, and capabilities due to prior experiences and heredity. Individuals possess unique talents and develop learning preferences and paces through learning and socialization. And number 2, learning and diversity. Effective learning considers learners' diverse linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds, while core learning principles are universal. Factors like language, ethnicity, and socio-economic status influence learning, valuing, and accommodating individual differences, boost motivation and achievement. Number 3, standards and assessment. High standards and thorough assessment, including both diagnostic and outcome assessment, are crucial for learning. Assessment provides valuable feedback for both learners and teachers throughout the learning process.
Sana'y huwag kalimutan.